Tonight on Cronkite News, the Sun Devils are officially bowl eligible. See how Arizona State took care of Oklahoma State out in Stillwater over the weekend.
Plus, the ASU women's basketball team looks to get out to a hot start with the new season beginning tonight.
And with just hours to go, the presidential candidates crisscrossed the country for their last full day of campaigning. Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News. I'm Kendall Flynn.
And I'm Anna McClure. Thank you for joining us.
The Cardinals hosted the Chicago Bears this past weekend at State Farm Stadium.
It was a huge day for the Cardinals defense as they were able to prevent Chicago from ever reaching the end zone. Arizona has now strung together 3 consecutive wins for the first time since starting the 2021 Season 7. And the Cardinals scored first and never surrendered the lead. It was a stress-free victory for the Cardinals after needing game-winning field goals as time expired in each of the past 2 weeks.
With the Cardinals' win and a Seahawks loss the past weekend, Arizona has now taken control over the NFC West. The Redbirds are 2-0 against the division this season, which provides an additional cushion for the team as a potential tiebreaker. Here's Cardinals player Paris Johnson on being the first in the division.
Having that mindset of where we at in the standings, it's not going to help us block anybody. It's not going to complete one more pass or get another sack. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's just the energy around the whole locker room is okay. That's great. You know, the O-line, we had the victory hot dogs today. That's great. You know, but now it's like, okay, Jets.
Arizona State football took care of business Saturday, defeating the Oklahoma State Cowboys 42-21.
Yeah, this win makes the Sun Devils bowl eligible for the first time since 2021. It was a rainy day out in Stillwater, but that was not stopping the Devils from lighting up the scoreboard. With quarterback Sam Levitt back from a rib injury, the Sun Devils offense couldn't be contained. Cam Scadaboo was running up and down the field, rushing for 153 yards and caught 4 passes for 121 yards. Scadaboo was named Big 12 Offensive Player of the Week for the 4th time, but he is listed as doubtful for this week's game after suffering an injury late in the game. Here's Kenny Dillingham on Scadaboo's leadership.
When you have guys who just play really hard and physical, I think everybody has to match that. And I think the way he's playing hard, the way he's playing physical, the way he's been practicing up to this point, people emulate what your best players, allow to happen on the practice field. And he's just done such a phenomenal job setting his own standard for himself.
Tonight in the NBA, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and the Phoenix Suns are back on the hardwood in non-conference action against the visiting Philadelphia 76ers for the second game of their 3-game homestand at Footprint Center. Philly is expecting Paul George to make his season debut with the team, but will the Sun Devils have one of their 3 big out of commission? Shooting guard Bradley Beal is listed as a game-time decision tonight as he continues to manage an elbow injury. Phoenix enters the game second in the Western Conference with a 5-1 record and currently riding a 4-game win streak after beating the Blazers Saturday. Earlier today, Devin Booker was named Western Conference Player of the Week, and the Suns spoke about the team's chemistry, leading them to early success despite missing a key piece.
Obviously want him out there, but guys have stepped up when he's been out, and obviously you guys have seen what Ryan can do, and Grayson played really well last game, so we got enough.
And I also think it's early, so we're still trying to figure it out. We're still integrating guys. We're still figuring out lineups and stuff like that. So it's gonna be fluid, especially early on. So for me and for us, it's not our job to really focus on that. It's our job that when we're out there, just to do what we're asked to do and produce.
This year's college basketball slate tips off tonight.
Yeah, Kendall, and the men's and women's basketball season is officially underway. GCU tips off their season tonight against Cal State Fullerton, and the University of Arizona plays host to Canisius at 8 p.m. ASU starts their season tomorrow against Idaho State at Desert Financial Arena. Arizona State women's basketball is ready to make their mark in the Big 12. With a new roster and a challenging conference ahead, Duron Orr has more on what's in store for the Sun Devils.
ASU's women's basketball is starting a new era in the new conference. As the season kicks off against Jacksonville State, the Sun Devils look to turn faces this year, as last season they had a rough year, ending the season with 11 wins and 20 losses overall, and 3 of 15 in conference. The Big 12 preseason poll ranks ASU women's at 15.
And you got to prove yourself nowadays, so it's nothing new. We haven't proved ourselves. This is a new conference for us. We haven't done anything. We're still on a rebuild. We had 2 years of reconstructing the whole team, so I'm really not mad at it.
With the addition of new players through the transfer portal and players like Ty Skinner returning from an injury that sidelined her for an entire season, the Sun Devils finally feel like they have a healthy and capable team.
I'm excited just to see it all come together. You know, I know what it looks like, right? A lot of people here haven't seen it, but I've seen it. This is year 27 for me. So I know what it looks like. I know how it's supposed to work. I know what it takes.
Last season was a test of patience, strength, and commitment, but this year they have something coming and goals to achieve.
I think we're just looking to win. I mean, that's the biggest goal. I think that we all have the same goal in mind, so I think that's why we came together, and at the end of the day, the goal is to win. If that's the Big 12 tournament, March Madness, whatever it is, that's the main goal.
With a blend of new talent, the squad is ready to face challenges and strive for success, as the players set their sights on the ultimate prize. In Tempe, Duran Noor, Cronkite News.
Hopefully, the Sun Devils can bounce back and get off to a great start.
The team will also host Arkansas State on Friday, November 8th.
Coming up next, a girls volleyball player out of Horizon High School.
And let it be known that she's one of the best players in the country. See how the Olympic gold medalist and 2-time state champion is taking her game to the next level after the break.
Plus, it was a rainy weekend across the valley. So what can we expect for the rest of the week? Your full forecast is next.
When I was younger, there were no engineers around me. So I had to become my own role model. At ASU, I wasn't just learning to be an engineer. I was actually engineering. And graduating, I already had real-world jobs lined up. Before ASU, my goal was to be a strong, confident woman. And when I left, I became a strong, confident engineer.
Innovation at the Walter Cronkite School is pushing the boundaries of traditional journalism.
Storytelling has evolved over the years. This is part of that evolution.
Students in the Innovation and Entrepreneurship Lab are using emerging technology to create scenes in augmented and virtual reality, coding playable games, and bringing the audience into the story.
They're only limited by their imagination and their willingness to learn.
Find out more at cronkite.asu.edu.
The scientists and engineers that support the next mission to Mars could be in this class.
Getting a degree at ASU is a journey that can take you anywhere. Into a world of groundbreaking technology and renowned award-winning faculty. Professors who help you to impact the world. Whether you're on campus or at home, becoming your best starts with learning from the best.
Horizon High School's Tereya Sigler has emerged as one of Arizona's most talented volleyball stars, known for her dedication and competitive spirit. As she prepares to take her game to the University of Nebraska, Sigler remains focused on making a lasting impression. Erin Nemiroff has more on her remarkable journey.
Tereya Sigler's story is one of excellence at every level. She has won 3 gold medals with Team USA, helped lead Horizon High School to 2 straight state championships, and is regarded as one of the top seniors in the country. But Sigler's success didn't come without its challenges, including lessons learned while competing internationally against the world's best.
I played 3 USA teams, and so each one had their own battles in different ways. My first one was a real jump of like, oh wow, like I'm not the best person in this gym right now. It was a super humbling moment. It was something that I needed.
Sigler's time with Team USA pushed her to embrace new challenges. Next season, she'll join college perennial powerhouse Nebraska, where she is eager to contribute to a culture that values and supports student athletes across all sports.
People really just care about supporting these student athletes to go and be great. And I feel like it's not just volleyball, it's football, it's basketball. I feel like learning that we all can support each other without having that division. I feel like Nebraska is just like, everyone just thrives around volleyball.
Sigler's focus is more than just the legacy she hopes to create at Nebraska. She remains committed to improving her current team and helping shape the future of Horizon Volleyball, where she is looking to win her third straight state title with the Huskies.
She doesn't approach this season as her last season. Anytime we have a conversation, she wants to know what she can do to better the program. She wants to know what she can do to leave for the underclassmen to come up.
Skaggs praises Sigler's commitment to supporting the next generation of players. And for Sigler, it's more than just leadership she wants to leave behind. It's the relationships that will last a lifetime.
I want people to know me as a person and know my personality before they know the way I play. And I feel like that's super important because I'm graduating with these people. I'll go to some of these girls' weddings. I want them to know that they're loved by me.
As Sigler nears graduation, her journey is far from over. With her drive, passion, and commitment, she looks to make a difference not only on the court, but off the court as well. In Phoenix, Aaron Nemiroff, Cronkite News.
ASU and the Cardinals both faced off against the weather this past weekend.
Glendale saw some rain and hail during Sunday's Cards game. While this is usually no big deal, State Farm Stadium left the roof open for the contest and was forced to shut it mid-game. The Sun Devils also battled Mother Nature this past weekend while they were in Stillwater. The game was delayed for over 2 hours during halftime of this Big 12 matchup. On Friday, the game's start time was moved up 3 hours in an attempt to avoid any inclement weather, but it was no use and the field became soaked during the break.
Hopefully all that rain and hail stays in the past. Let's see what's on deck for this week's forecast.
Keller Brown joins us now from the Cronkite Weather Center with what we can expect.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thankfully, no crazy weather over here in Arizona. However, I will say it is finally sweatshirt season. Let's take a look at the Monday evening planner. And looking at 9 p.m. and 10 p.m., it'll get into the low 60s, 62 and 60 degrees. So if you're out and about, maybe walking your dog late at night, make sure to bundle up because it is starting to get pretty cold. Now moving into tomorrow's low temperatures, looking at Phoenix, 51 degrees as a low temperature. Perfect for early November. And if you look up in Flagstaff, 22 degrees, and Grand Canyon is 19 degrees as a low. Very cold up there, so make sure to bundle up if you are out in the early morning or late evening. Now looking at the higher temperatures, 74 degrees, perfect mid-temperature, mid-70s for what we want to see in early November. And if you look at the western point of Arizona, Bullhead City and Lake Havasu City, 75 and 77 degrees as the high there. Now looking at the wind speeds, with the cooler weather starting to come around, the wind speeds will bring that cooler weather down even more. Looking at Tuesday early afternoon, and then if you look into later on Tuesday and Wednesday early morning, you will start to see the wind speeds pick up, particularly in western Arizona from Yuma, 24 miles per hour up into 29 miles an hour in Bullhead City. Now looking at the 8-day forecast, Tuesday is election day tomorrow, so perfect reason to get out and go vote. Not too hot and not too cold. Now moving into the weekend forecast, I know you're all looking at that 75-degree temperature for Saturday. That's Arizona State versus UCF. And perfect weather for that. No reason to not get out and watch some football in some perfect weather. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Keller. Coming up next, we are officially 1 day away from the general election.
And more than 2 million people are expected to vote in Maricopa County. Find out how many have already cast their ballot and how election officials are preparing for tomorrow when we return.
The scientists and engineers that support the next mission to Mars could be in this class.
Getting a degree at ASU is a journey that can take you anywhere. Into a world of groundbreaking technology and renowned award-winning faculty. Professors who help you to impact the world. Whether you're on campus or at home, becoming your best starts with learning from the best.
Welcome back to Cronkite News. I'm Sam Dayton with your news headlines. We are officially 1 day away from Election Day, with more than 2 million people expected to vote in Maricopa County. Half of these are voting in person. Is the largest county in the state prepared for tomorrow? County officials held a press conference to update the public on what to expect as they head to the polls. Sienna Monet was at the press conference and now joins us from the newsroom.
Officials say they have already received a record number of ballots, more than 1.5 million. Of those ballots, they have already completed signature verification on 1.4 million ballots. They do have questions about 27,000 signatures, but say they are well on their way to completing the necessary approvals for 15,000 of those. They emphasize they have hired additional staff members, up to 4,000 temporary workers, and improved instructions at polling locations. They also outlined how election results will be reported, explaining that initial numbers, about 55% of ballots, will drop around 8 p.m. County officials say they are ready, but ask that people remain patient and have faith in the system.
The majority of ballots will be counted within the first 24 hours after the polls close. But it's important to remember that here in Arizona, our races are extremely close, and it still might take a few days for you, the media, to call those races. So we ask you to be patient. Let us do our job, and we will be transparent about what we have done and what we have left to do.
We're asking for our residents to be good citizens, and in particular, for those people who are involved in these elections, if unfortunately, they're not successful, we're asking them to accept these results and move on and congratulate the winner.
Maricopa County sheriffs say safety and security is one of their top priorities here, online and even outside the country. Voters can stay updated through the official county website as results continue to roll in. In the newsroom, Sienna Monet, Cronkite News.
With Arizona being a key battleground state in this election, both presidential campaigns are making stops in Arizona. Vice President Republican nominee J.D. Vance was in Scottsdale at Dillon Precision, a weapons manufacturing company, on Saturday, and Vice Presidential Democratic nominee Tim Walz was in Flagstaff and Tucson on the same day. And in our nation's capital, some businesses are boarding up in the event of unrest on Election Day. Fences have been put up around the White House, and nearby streets are closed off. The D.C. police are fully activating, and officers are working 12-hour shifts. There is also a new Joint Operations Command Center. The space was created to coordinate federal and local emergency services on election night and the time leading up to inauguration. An officer says the protective measures across the city are proactive, and there have not yet been any credible threats. And the final day of campaigning in this presidential election has been a busy one. Vice Presidential Kamala Harris visited several battleground states today, including a stop in critical Pennsylvania. And former President Donald Trump also hit the battlegrounds, finishing in Tulsa, Michigan. CNN reporter Brian Abel has the latest on the election's final moments.
The presidential campaign trail over the final weekend, running straight through the battleground states. Vice President Kamala Harris with multiple stops in Wisconsin Friday, Georgia and North Carolina Saturday, and Michigan Sunday, making closing arguments of her truncated campaign, saying she wants to remind people the stakes of the election.
We know who Donald Trump is. Now, this is not someone who is thinking about how to make your life better.
The vice president Saturday also appearing on SNL.
Because what do we always say? Keep Kamala and carry on a lot.
The close of former President Trump's third presidential run, also pushing into multiple battleground states. He too was in Wisconsin Friday after Michigan, then Virginia Saturday, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and North Carolina Sunday.
And I will bring back the American dream, and we'll bring it back stronger than ever before.
As they sprint to the finish, polls show a race too close to call. Longtime Michigan Representative Debbie Dingell on just how close she believes this race is.
Been through enough elections that I can tell you I have never seen a tighter election.
And Harris will finish out the final moments of her campaign in Pennsylvania tonight, ending with a rally at the famous Rocky Steps in Philadelphia. Meanwhile, Trump will hold his last rally where he was his previous presidential runs in Grand Rapids, Michigan. In other news, the Phoenix Police Department is expanding the crimes you can report online. The department's online reporting system has been in operation since 2013, but only low-level crimes could be reported. But now citizens can report crimes like shoplifting, fraud, and even vehicle theft through the online system, available online at phoenix.gov. Spain is bracing for some more heavy rains and thunderstorms just after dealing with the aftermath of a catastrophic flooding that left around 215 dead. The floods tore through towns and people went without power and water. Many Spaniards were angry at the government's response to the disaster and felt there had been a lack of warnings. Now thousands of civil and military emergency workers are searching for missing people. The Spanish armed forces have rescued about 4,600 people from the floods. The Spanish prime minister said the storm is the worst natural disaster that's affected his country in recent history. Back here in the U.S., communities in Oklahoma are cleaning up today after several tornadoes hit the area yesterday. Much of the damage reported near Oklahoma City. Storms left thousands of homes without power, and at least 11 people had to be hospitalized. The spokesperson for the National Weather Service says 6 tornadoes may have hit the state. Retailers are moving on from Halloween and focusing on upcoming festivities. With this season's shortened holiday shopping season and a tense presidential election, consumer spending is expected to reach a new record this year. According to the National Retail Federation, shoppers are expected to spend a record $903 per person, $27 more than last year. This includes items like food, decoration, and gifts. That's all for your news here at the desk. Now back to the desk.
Thanks, Sam. After the break, we'll show you an image that's literally out of this world.
Yeah, this image has taken over the internet. When we return, find out the story behind the image from Mars and why it has so many people talking.
When I was younger, there were no engineers around me, so I had to become my own role model. At ASU, I wasn't just learning to be an engineer, I was actually engineering. And graduating, I already had real-world jobs lined up. Before ASU, my goal was to be a strong, confident woman. And when I left, I became a strong, confident engineer.
People have always had trouble trying to put me into a box. A professor, suit and tie is just not me. Without the ocean, I don't know what I would do. You know, the ocean's always been there for me. As Hawaiian people, we believe that the coral is the first living being to come out of the darkness. It's the foundation of our entire lifestyle, and that's what my research is about. What we do is we take photographs of the reef over long periods of time to create models that can tell us what the planet is doing. If we go deaf to what the Earth is telling us, then we'll never be able to live in harmony. If I can get my students excited about protecting the ocean, then they're the ones who are gonna really make the difference. I hope my students realize that I'm not trying to prepare them for something in the distant future. Their time is now at Arizona State University.
Welcome back. Here's a live look at Tempe today. What a great weather it is today. 70 degrees, perfect. Whip out that sweater. Nice sunny day for you too. Finally tonight, NASA's Perseverance rover has been sending back amazing images from Mars since it landed on Martian soil a few years ago.
That's right, but the latest image it sent back has a lot of people talking. That's because the rover just captured the silhouette of one of the Martian moons passing in front of the sun. But the image looks a lot like a googly eye, which has made many on the internet chuckle. What we're witnessing is actually a solar eclipse as seen from Mars. And a little fun fact, this moon circles the red planet every 7 hours.
That's it for tonight's edition of Cronkite News. I'm Kendall Flynn.
And I'm Anna McClure. Thank you for joining us.
And to see top Arizona stories anytime, log on to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.